who you are and what do you do?
I'm Armands Liseks, and there are several roles, but probably the main one is that I'm a co-founder and CEO at inGain Technologies, building a no-code SaaS loan management system for businesses to launch and scale financial products themselves in weeks and without the hassle of IT management. So basically, we enable any business to become fintech.
How did you come to this far? If we look back, I don't know, 3-5 years, what were you doing?
Actually, my fintech journey started probably like 7 years ago or so, and I've been with a couple of two companies in open banking area. One of them being local Nordigen, recently acquired by Go Cardless. And second was a Polish startup company, Kontomatik, acquired already 3 times, I guess. This is where my journey in fintech started. And inGain is actually an interesting story because, typically there is a bunch of founders coming together and setting up a business. But this is not our case because my 2 partners, Juris and Kristaps, they were actually having a custom development IT house. So for 10-12 years, they were doing custom developed loan management systems for online lenders, basically. They wanted to boost the business, so they invited me to join in. And I started as a partner and change manager. The change was quite substantial. So out of IT house, we became a product company, a SaaS company. So yeah, that's our story. This is how we started.
Okay, so I feel there could have been some challenges moving from software house to a product software company. Maybe a little bit about those. That's done now, but still there must be some feelings and stories. What was the most challenging?
This transition has been a journey and still is. So it's in October. It will be like 3 years that I joined, and we started with a research and understanding how we actually serve our customers, what we can improve, etc. And so we basically continued in a manner that we need to build the product, and that was a challenge, like from a technology perspective, etc. Because unlike any other SaaS companies, what we do is that we give our customers a freedom to do some custom development on top of our SaaS system. And this is, for us, it's really market-driven product development strategy. Because these are the customers who come to us and say, this is what we want to do, we are ready to pay for this, and then we need to actually bundle it all together in a single system. So that's a technology, so to say, challenge, which is solved. But then the biggest challenge is that, you can't take a team with 10-12 years of experience in particular field and say, hey, we are going to change how we work and now we are going to be a product company. So a lot of mentality changes need to be in place. And that has been the most tricky part. Actually, that people start switching their mindset that what I'm building is going to be reusable. There are no shortcuts that are in place. I would say that for a year or so, I was thinking that, okay, we can try to replace what we've got and simply by putting new values in place, etc. But it didn't work out. So we had to first unlearn what we've been doing, because in many cases I was like asking the team, why are you doing this? Because we always have done it. And nobody is like asking the question to themselves why we are doing this anymore, because it's been in place for so long. So we had to relearn, we had to change, and it took actually to onboard new people, fresh people who shared the new vision, who aspire to become a product company, who bring in new mentality. and only then we actually experienced like the real change, and things started to move quicker. So now, in retrospect, I think we would not have achieved what we have achieved so far if we actually would not implement and bring in new people on board.
Okay, that's quite a story. So lately you've been on lots of news and posters and events and so on, and still you somehow need to keep doing your job and you need to have a life. How do you handle this? How do you manage your schedule? What's your trick and so on?
Well, I think it's all about managing your priorities, right? So you can't do everything that you would like to do, what you sometimes are expected to do. So it's really, let's say, drawing the line, what you do, what you don't, what you can, let's say, ask your colleagues and partners to cover. It brings a lot of empowerment to the team, and not trying to control everything yourself, and allowing everyone to do mistakes, learn from them, allowing yourself to make some mistakes, and simply just going ahead. In terms of time management, I think it's again really about focused time and drawing the lines. Okay, you need to have a rest. You can work 24/7. Like for 6-7 months I didn't have any weekends off, but then you can't go with that way forever. So I started to take weekends off as well, and simply being fine with the fact that I'm not capable of managing and doing everything I would love to do. But so far it's been working well. And what is helpful, of course, when you do the fundraising and you can bring in more senior people on board, they actually are taking away more and more things from your table. And eventually now I'm able to also start focusing on more strategic initiatives and think about where we go, rather than really working with clients and doing also project management yourself. So that's good.
Okay. You must have, but can you draw a picture a little? How does it work between CEO and the board? What's your situation? What's the reality?
Well, so far in the board, we are 3 founders, and we have as a board advisor the investors. It's very recent that we have the investors on board as well. But it's really maybe about how you treat the board. So if you go with a perspective that this is the senior level to whom you report, that is sort of one way of story. On the other hand, the way I look at it is that, we are on same boats with the same motivation to make the company big, to make it successful, and then you use them as a resource. These investors, the founders, you use them for brainstorming. A couple of weeks ago we had like 3 hours brainstorming session with the investors and also with our advisors, not all of them but part of them, and it's very great that these people come together, they focus on you, on your project for several hours, and then all of a sudden you can see that, the start is very slow, but then new ideas come in, and basically we managed to change the strategy. We had maybe not to change, but maybe better define and make some changes into the things we do for better. So I think important is that it's not a supervisory team whom you report. It's actually your resource whom you can leverage, from whom you can learn, and I think it takes also a great deal just to listen what the people are saying, because maybe trying also to understand what they mean, because everyone has their own interpretation about what they hear, and then making sure that you actually align what they wanted to say to you. It's been tricky, but I've enjoyed it so far.
Okay, yeah. So let's picture that it's late night you're having the board meeting tomorrow. Those don't happen that frequently, I assume. Let's say there is some bad stuff going around. You're not gonna bring amazing results. How do you sleep? How do you get to sleep?
So for me, the sleep is like the holy cow. You don't sacrifice on sleep. This is what I always do. I need my 8 hours. I need a good rest, otherwise I can't function. But I would say, when you look from the investor perspective, initially when they do investments, you are in their brain and they think about you, etc. But all, like, in 6 months time or 9 months time, you are just one line in an Excel, which is performing better or worse, and they don't care too much. So it's about how you manage that investor relationships yourself, how you keep them informed, how much you involve them, and because if you involve them, you can also deliver bad news, and you can also deliver bad news in a different perspective, that, well, this is a new opportunity. And I think what is also important to acknowledge is that when investors make any sort of investment, they understand that there is, I don't know, 95% plus probability you'll fail. So it's not surprising they hear bad news more frequently than great news, yeah. So I think it's also we should treat it as a journey, because even if we fail, and we might fail in one market niche, in one activity, but we might eventually find something else, which brings the next big thing. And I've experienced this as well. For example, in the previous companies, like for instance with Nordigen, the business was totally different when it was started. But then the regulation changed, the PSD2 came in place, and it opened new doors, it opened new opportunities, and this is where they became super successful. I would say we are all just people. We all want to enjoy the communication, and we all share the common goal. Everyone wants to be that every company, every investment is successful, and they are ready to contribute. And you just need to manage it and ask them for their inputs, because they can provide quite a bit of inputs, especially if it is an experienced VC or advisor or whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to move a little to that humanistic part of life. So let's forget for a moment about the board, specific things, but more, let's say if I would be a founder and you would be my mentor or just a friend, and I'm coming to you with my story that tomorrow I'm gonna have a big thing, and I'm having trouble sleeping, I'm stressed, what would you suggest me?
I think everyone needs to find their own recipe. Who does meditation, who goes for a walk, who watches the movie, listens to music, reads a book. For me, it's probably just have a walk. Especially there's no good point in stressing out the day before. You can't change anything over the night. So I think it's very important that everyone does the self-reflection once in a while about where we go, are we good at what we are doing, and also it takes a lot of courage not to mislead yourself that I'm working on something, I really believe in this, but then you start faking the results for yourself, and you say, okay, I didn't succeed yet, but there was this positive signal, and you just continue on this false signal sometimes. Sometimes you just need to say, okay, this is not working, fine, let's do something else. That has been working for me in the past years.
Okay. What's the one last thing you would like to, I don't know, wish to the world or to the listeners?
Never thought about it. I don't know. In terms of startups, I think it's really just be courageous and try to address some impactful and meaningful things. I really believe that we are changing finance industry by enabling any business to become fintech themselves, and we want to bring, let's say, best value added for the end customers. So, for instance. We have this potential customer in Switzerland, which is about to launch piano rent-own product. And today there is no piano leasing or whatever. No banks will offer it anytime soon. But the need that they are solving is that typically parents buy the piano for their children when they start musical school. And what do you do with the piano in case they drop out from the musical school 6 months later? So you are stuck with your 50 grand piano. So, and this company wants to solve it. They are ready to take back these pianos. They are ready to create the secondary market out of it, and they are making piano way more accessible. And this is like a very simple thing, but it can change the consumer life for better. It can maybe it gives an opportunity to more kids actually to start playing piano. So, and that's that is what basically drives me. That, well, we don't know what eventually will be application of the technology. We have the vision, and it seems like it's working out.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.